Like a lot of you out there, I started mountain biking during the pandemic. For me, it was specifically when my buddy Rick gave me a entry-level Kona hardtail. And of course, like most entry-level bikes, it came with these plastic pedals, you know, the kind you can buy on Amazon for like $6. Needless to say, after a few weeks of riding the bike with those pedals and my running shoes, I knew I needed something better. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. As always, my name is Todd and I'm an old-ass mountain biker. So today we're going to talk about how I ended up with my 510 Freerider shoes and my One-Up Components composite pedals. Like a lot of people, I searched up mountain bike pedals and I realized pretty quickly that for flats, one of the most popular choices is Race Face Chester pedals. And they're really cool pedals. They come in all kinds of colors. As you can see over here, these perfectly matched that Kona I was talking about. And they have replaceable pins, replaceable bearing kits, replaceable spindles. These are good pedals. And if you're interested in them, please don't take the fact that I don't have them anymore to mean they're not good pedals. They just weren't the right platform for me. Upgrading to a legitimate pedal was a nice first step. But to be honest, it was probably not the right first step for me. Because you see, I ended up upgrading to a nice pair of pedals that had these pins. But I was still using running shoes to connect myself, and well, you see, my shoes were not designed to work with my pedals. And as a consequence, I took some serious pedal strikes. Add those pins, and I gave myself some serious war wounds. But that does bring us to the first review and what I wish was the first thing I had bought relative to my transmission, and that is my 510 Freerider shoes. And before I really dig into these shoes, I want you to know that I went with flat pedals originally because I didn't want to spend the extra money having to buy shoes specifically designed to work with my pedals. And I'll tell you, regardless of whether you ride flats or clipless, it pays to invest in a quality pair of shoes that are designed to work with the system that you choose. In the end, I'm really glad I went with flats because it gives me a little bit more confidence knowing I can always dab my foot, etc. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into these shoes. First thing I will tell you about the shoe is they have a really grippy, sole. It's their stealth rubber, I guess. It's pretty durable. I've been riding with these for about 6 months, and with a little bit of exception, they've been kind of chewed up on the side. They're really, really nice. And because of that, once you put your foot down on the pedal and you apply weight, you become almost clipped into these pedals. It is that grippy. And this is really good if you're used to putting your foot down right where you need to. But if you don't, and you've already applied weight, you're going to have to unweight your foot and then reset it on the pedal. One of my complaints about the bike when I first got it was that I would rub my heel against the seat stay. And as a consequence, I was constantly having to unweight my foot and then re-weight it as I slid it out to the outside of those Chester, the Race Face Chester pedals. So it's a good and a bad thing, but you are very, very connected to the pedals and the pins when you're wearing these shoes. So I mentioned that I've been riding it with these shoes for 6 months, and other than a little bit of chewing up on the side, they're still in really good shape. So I'm going to tell you the durability for these shoes are phenomenal. All of these stitches are still perfect, and I find no flaws in them. No delamination of the rubber from the leather. The padding is still thick and plush, and I give them top rating for their durability. Another thing that I thought was very interesting is given that I came from a road bike background, and the bottom of your riding shoes tend to be like carbon fiber or some material that is very stiff, so you have extreme pedal efficiency. This shoe is not that stiff at all. I mean, you can definitely feel it. I'm sure you get some of that efficiency, especially from the ball of the foot back. But given, you know, if you're wearing flats, you're probably going down some gnarly or more gnarly downhill type trails. I know I have to hike my bike up in order to come down. So having a comfortable shoe, or relatively comfortable shoe to walk in, is definitely a plus and a bonus. But there is a downside to that. You know, one of the things, they use a little bit softer material, and you don't get quite so much toe protection. And I know that, and it might be a flaw on my part, when I'm pedaling on some technical climbs, I have a tendency to go toe down when I'm pushing forward on the pedal, and I have taken some pretty significant toe strikes, I guess you could say, instead of pedal strikes as a consequence. So I wish they did have a little bit more protection right on the front of the toe. Last but not least, how did I end up with my One-Up Components composite pedals? Long story short, when I got the Freeriders, I had put the Chester pedals on the bike. I already am wearing the 510s. I mentioned before I kept catching my heel on the seat stay, enough that I pulled enough that protective film off that I knew I needed to constantly concentrate on keeping my foot on the outside of my pedal, and I looked for something with a wider platform, and that is where the One-Up Components came in. So it's slightly wider, and it's slightly longer. It has 10 pins instead of 8. It's also got 3 pins that run down the center of the pedal, as opposed to just staying on the perimeter. And all in all, I felt like that gave me a really solid platform to step on. A lot of times I can catch the outside of the pedal just enough, still keeps room for my foot, but allows me to fully anchor. And just like the Chester pedals, you have bearing rebuilds, you have replacement spindles, and of course you can replace these pins, which are really important because you will damage them as you ride. So these are really nice. They're just simple 2mm hex keys to be able to remove them. Normally they are 10mm in length. You don't have to order the official replacement pins. I buy socket head cap screws, M3 by 12mm or 2mm longer than normal. A bag of 50 costs about $8 or $9 on Amazon. So that's where I get these from. And yeah, I'm really happy with my 510 Freeriders, my One-Up Components composite pedals. And let me know what you guys ride with and whether you're happy with your selection. If you guys enjoyed the content, remember, please hit subscribe. Thanks, everyone.